You're so kind. Okay, good evening all. Welcome to the Cheltenham Football Club Development Centre presentation. Sorry if I say quite a lot. I am looking at the screen to my right where it's saying to admit participants. So we'll try and do that as I'm going because I can't co-host on Zoom at the moment. Just to introduce myself, my name is Andy Bevan. I'm the Football Development Manager for Cheltenham Town Football Club, overseeing our both development centres and our satellite centre. I'm co-hosting tonight with James Duckworth. Evening, James.
Evening all, how are we?
Good man, thank you, mate. So James is going to keep an idea on the chat and any participants that come in late, so as we can share with you. I will go through what I'm going to speak on the presentation now, so I'm going to share my screen with you all. Okay, we're up on screen now. Let's just get that main shout out. Can we see that on screen, James?
Yes.
Brilliant.
Perfect, mate.
Excellent.
Shall I not bother?
Okay, again, can I just remind you, can we all mute our screens, please, if you could, please? I know we did one the other night and I found out what they were having for tea and everything and what they were cooking. It was great fun, to be fair. It was actually quite bad because I didn't get invited for it, so it was disappointing. So the presentation is going to take approximately 25 minutes. James, my co-host, is our lead youth development phase coach from Hereford. So he's co-hosting, as I've said earlier. I've recorded the meeting so as we can upload it to our YouTube channel and we'll share for those that are unable to attend tonight or don't jump onto the meeting. So just go straight into it on what we're going to be doing tonight. So as we've got an idea, I came into post about 4 or 5 months ago to come in and oversee the running of both development centres in Hereford and Cheltenham, plus our satellite centre at Hartbury. It's been a whirlwind. It's absolutely been crazy, but we are trying to make progress and we are trying to move forward at all times. So this is an idea of what I've seen come in place so far, what potentially we're going to be trying to do with our development centres as we go forward. We work aligned with the academy. That's our new way of thinking in terms of one club mentality. And with that comes along our Northern Star to make it happen, which we use within the academy, trying to make every player, every member of staff to be the best that they can possibly be going forward, because ultimately that's what we want within everyone. We use the same values within our academy structure in terms of safeguarding, learning and respect, our SLRs in the culture, and in our values, the wiser, as you'll see down the left-hand side. And I think it's crucial to share them in terms of the wiser. That's massively important. The work ethic, the integrity, the solutions, enjoyment, responsibility. It could be quite quick to just run over them and just not actually think about those words. But to me, a lot of them are the non-negotiables that we have in life. Your work ethic, your integrity, solutions around. We'll come across problems in everyday life. We will in our centres. It's the solutions that we get around them. It mightn't always work, but they certainly try and get solutions. And then we'll look for the enjoyment. We've gone rather quick there. Look for our enjoyment, and ultimately then we look for our responsibility, self-ownership and learning. So from where do our development stand in the pecking order? Well, this is what we've done over with Cheltenham. I've been with the football club on and off since 2012, and since that time, before we were running the development centres since 2009, over 180 boys have come through the development centre into the academy. 14 of those players have been sold by the academy since 2009 across to category 1, category 2s. We're a category 3 academy on the verge of we were trying to push to higher status, as like I said, with the Northern Star, trying to be the best that we can be. 44 players have turned professional from our academy in 25 years, which is fantastic. That is a massive achievement. And that to me stems from down the bottom of the pyramid where it all starts to try and build up to there, to try and give an idea of what we are about. On coming into the post and being appointed the role as the FDM, the Football Development Manager, as I said earlier when I introduced myself, Tim Bell, the Academy Manager, were feeding into that. We then appointed 4 lead phases. So we got a youth phase from 13s to 16s across Hereford and Cheltenham. And then we've got a foundation phase from 9 to 12s in both Cheltenham and Hereford. You'll see there's a cross on Ross at the moment. That's been amended today because Ross is no longer going to be the lead phase. He's stepping aside. Luke Norman is going to be the who's currently the lead foundation phase coach, is now going to be stepping up and helping with the admin interim till the end of the season, which will help with the admin with Teamer, etc., which we will touch on later. Okay, so that's brilliant of Luke to step up to that role again. Great. Below, we've got James Duckworth, who I've introduced. James is lead YDP for our Hereford Centre, and Darren Brown, who is lead foundation coach for our Hereford Centre. So it gives you an idea of what we're all doing. Sorry about the mouse is playing up a little bit, kicking across screens. Okay, so that gives a point of reference call for you all of where you can go to if you can't get hold of me, can't get hold of any of our coaches. There's plenty of stuff that we're trying to do. To give you an idea of the size of what we're actually running at Cheltenham in terms of our development centres, okay, across the 2 development centres and our satellite centres, we've got 3 squads in our under-19 BTEC college programme, 2 in Cheltenham, 1 in Hereford. We've got 23 squads across our under-6s to under-16s, 302 players and 18 squads playing in the Junior Premier League, which, you know, is a fantastic achievement by the football club and a great effort put in by all. To have 18 teams playing on a Saturday in the Junior Premier League is fantastic. A little bit more background into that to give you a breakdown of how those squads are brought about. Before we move on, will be for our Cheltenham Development Centre, 2 squads running the under-19 BTEC college programme, playing in the EFL Community Education and Football Alliance League, and they play that midweek whilst doing their studies as well. They have 8 squads from under-9s to under-16 and 112 players all playing in the JPL. Come across to our Hereford Development Centre, we've got 1 college programme in the under-19s programme, again playing in the EFL. We've got 8 squads from under-9s to under-16s, 114 players, again, all playing in the Junior Premier League. Our satellite centre run out of Hartbury, which is run by Luke Norman. Again, Luke, who I introduced earlier, who's lead foundation coach, but also interim YDP. He also runs the satellite centre at Hartbury, which again has 5 squads to under-6s to under-10s, a total of 76 players, with 2 of them playing in the JPL as well. So it gives you a little bit of background of this is what we're trying to run to make it as successful as we can. And we can only do that by pulling together. So the first, when I come into post, the first thing that I noticed was staffing. The staffing was a big issue. If you look at those numbers that we just talked about, those were that's the current staffing rate, and it's still nowhere near where we need it to be. So if we just quickly jump back to that, if you look at the Hereford and the Cheltenham Centre, they're roughly the same squads, the same players, etc., but the staffing between 21 and 13 is huge. So this was an issue that we needed to prioritise almost ASAP. And a way of doing that, sorry, I'm just going to shorten my screen because I can't quite see it all. Oops, I've shortened it too much. Okay, I'll try and drag you over to there. Yeah, that's better. Excuse me. A lot of the Hereford staff, when we started this, were level 1s that we progressed and we mentored them through their badges, which is again is something that we want to do as a football club. Ideally, it's great if you can get experienced coaches in, but ideally we also try and mentor the coaches through. So if there's a parent coach out there that is looking to take that next step up from grassroots into development centres, then please by all means get in touch. In the Hereford Centre now, we've got over 48% are level 2 and above, of which 36% of them are B licensed, which is great when there's 21 staff involved. We started off, like I said, by asking for volunteers to support the coaching staff. So ideally what our target and our aims are, and we can't always hit them. But I think what is crucial is that we have 2 coaches per age group. And obviously, as you can see, we're not touching that at our Cheltenham site, which we want to do. I look to try and get a member of, you know, a parent supporting staff to try and get there. So that potentially going forward, I'd love to have 2 coaching staff. And if you want, for a want of a better word, a parent coach liaison officer who can potentially step in if one of those coaches is unwell, has a family issue that they can't be there on that day. So at least there's one backup, because how I see this at the end of the day, who benefits from this? Our boys. We know this is not going to be an overnight fix, but again, we're working towards it, and we've improved the staffing numbers, but we're a long way from where we want to be, as you can see on there. So, you know, that's just a little bit of it, but it just gives you an idea of what we prioritized as soon as I came in. Again, these are little bits of the sort of thing that the standards that we want to try and create around all of us, you know, and I class us as one, and I will touch on that again. We've got our code of conducts, again, the club values, as you can see, the club values, that goes back to what we were saying we got within the academy wiser methodology. We got our code of conducts, which we've sent out. We haven't had them all back yet, and I appreciate that they were sent out late before we come in. What will happen going forward when players are re-signed or assigned for next season, these will be handed out the same. So when they sign up for next season, they sign the code of conducts as well. I know, you know, we prioritized the staff, and we also looked at, you know, we knew there was a kit issue with some of our older age groups, and also with bibs, balls, cones, etc., the BBC. So again, we've tried to get on top of this as soon as we can. It's taken time. Everything, unfortunately, does take time. We all want it here and now, and I know we live in a world, in a culture where you can almost get everything here and now, but we have to justify it. We have to budget for it. And so, you know, we want the kit, so we look smart, we play smart, and, you know, at the end of the day, a football club without footballs really isn't much of a football club. So it is difficult, and we appreciate footballs get lost, they get punctured, but it is crucial because the coaches try and take them with them wherever they go. But again, it is something that we are trying to better on. Again, working together across both centres, sharing best practice. I'm going to touch on a few little things that we've worked on in Hereford that have worked, some stuff on in Cheltenham have worked, and trying to mix and match to share it across. And one of the things that we did over the Christmas period that Luke brought in was the Christmas challenges for some of the foundation ages, which were great feedback. There were nice positivity around them, just a little bit of fun that got the interaction between parents. I'm sorry if you were dragged out as a parent to go and do some extra stuff over Christmas with them, which was great. Glad my son's quite old now and he didn't want it. But again, it's brilliant for you, and it's just little ideas like that. Around little stuff that we do, we want to introduce, I've used an ILP there, which is individual learning program. This is for a Hereford player, current captain of the under-19 BTEC college program. And it's an individual learning program that we share with them. So it gives up their 3 super strengths, 3 areas of development, and then 3 points that we want them to look at, that they think that they discuss with the coach that they can improve on. It also looks at a FIFA playing card that they match up to that player in their position, and then the areas they may play on the pitch. We have a player matrix that the staff use, so as we can target players that potentially can play across an age group, can push up an age group, and this is something we do as staff. Something else we tend to look at as well in our older age groups more so, and we're only trialing this year is KPIs, which are key performance indicators, and we use these to target. And as the boys get to 15s and above, we want them to look at that. We use this across some of our college programs as well, because we think it gets them into the men's football pyramid, which I've used myself personally across and find it very successful. We have the match day schedules on the left-hand side here, which this is sent out on a Friday via our social media pages. Again, this gives out a breakdown of what age groups are playing where and what time in the kickoffs. Again, we sometimes make mistakes on this and it's straight away picked up, which is great because, you know, we're not perfect. We make mistakes. But again, it gives everyone an idea, and it's something that we want to try get across all age groups at both centres, so as we can use this, because I think, you know, we want to publicise what we're doing, because there's a lot of good work that goes on that, you know, I think can share what we do and grow us as a centres. Again, a little bit more detail. Again, something that Luke brought into our foundation ages is tournament nights. It's something we work on in the academy that we want to share across our development centres. A little bit of fun to take them away from the rigmarole of match day, the training syllabus that we use, to have a bit of fun night with the tournament nights has worked out as great fun. We also look at then every results catered for, and data is put into our match results data by the staff. This is for Cheltenham and Hereford, so you can't see it next. It's quite small on the screen, but each age group, as you can see where my arrow is on the screen, this is 1 week. So we would have our under-19s there, down to our under-9s, starting to our under-16s, the teams we play, the scores, the scorers. It's just something so we can track. And also, you know, we look in there for super strengths, for super performers, and we put them down so as we can track them. And again, it's something that we can monitor going forward. We also have across in the Hereford site, which they use is a FTP and a YDP team of the week. And in that FTP and YDP team of the week, again, this is the staff and volunteers that do this. They collate the information together. We put out a team sheet, and again, it's built up of foundation players for one set of 11 players, and then the YDP again of the others. This is probably released on the Tuesday, giving the staff time to collate it. With the match reports, which is very similar to the match day schedule, this is released on the Monday. with this is just, and I'm sure some of you have seen this, but I'm just trying to explain how we want to evolve this across both our centres. Sorry, admitting. But on this, we don't put the scores down for under 12s and down. We put them from under 13s up. We do put the match day scorers down in all ages, but we also have like a two-line paragraph of just a brief report. Thank you. Guys, can we mute the screen, please? Thank you. And if, you know, like I said, the match day report, sorry, I lost my train of thought there. The little paragraph on each team on how they done. And it's just a brief to try and give an idea of how their objectives, the match day objectives and how they got on, etc. And then you come to say later in the week, we have a player a match. And the reason I left this one till last is I just want to touch on this because you'll have noticed across both centres, we're now using the Teamer app. Okay, Teamer's a notification free to use, and it's fantastic. I know in the past you've all used WhatsApp, and I totally understand that. And it's a thumbs up, am I available, or a thumbs down. And some people have said that's easier to use, and which I don't disagree. The only thing is that I would say it takes up a lot of the coach's time. And I'll use an example. We're all in these group chats. And if we put out today who's available for Saturday, and suddenly we get 8 straight away thumbs up, that's great, we remember them. But then we put another thread in the post about something else that's going on, or we training Thursday night, it gets lost in the thread, and then the coach has to track back through it to see who's available for Saturday. Whereas on the Teamer app, he just goes straight into the app on his phone, he can see who's available, who's coming training, who's not. It's also for somebody like myself, I'm across all the Teamer apps, and so are the lead coaches, that we can see who's attending and who's not without going into the WhatsApp group. So when the Teamer app does go out, I urge you, because it is paramount, we are going to push this even more and more, you know, that you can accept or decline. If you're unsure, and I totally get that, please decline, because it gives us a chance to offer the place to somebody else. And then if you are available, then please just accept and come back in. It just gives us a little bit idea. Guys, can we mute, please? It just gives us a little idea of where we're at, and everything is tracked. And the player of the match that goes out on the social media from the Hereford site, that's based on what's voted for by their peers. So after the game, we'd like the parents and the players to chat about their game on the way home. They can chat about it, let the player choose his player of the match. So it's voted for by their peers. The match results data system there, that's chosen by the coaches. But this one, player of the match, that goes out on social media is voted by their peers. So it's important because we want to know at the end of the day, you know, what the players are thinking. So we think it is important. And again, who benefits? Our boys. Cheltenham Town FC partnership. Everyone involved with Cheltenham FC is buying into the club ethos, parents, players, staff. We're an inclusive environment, and we're working together towards the one club approach, constantly involving and open to new ideas of working. And like I said at the start of this, if you have new ideas of sharing, how we can improve it, because trust me, we're all learning. None of us are perfect. We are all learning, and we want to do it right. At the end of the day, it's to benefit our boys, to get those numbers that we showed at the start, to keep evolving that. Can we keep pushing that up? So please feel free to share them at any stage, anytime. This is something that we brought in at Hereford last season. We got sponsorship through our wonderful sponsors. You saw the sponsored board on some of the team of the week. That's a sponsors board that we have, that the parents have managed to get local sponsors, etc. in. We managed to purchase a VO camera through it last season. With that, it gets to film our games, as you can see on the game here down below. And they took it. I'll just mute Andy Bevan. We've hearing enough of him as it is. So basically, the game is filmed and then it's analysed by the coaching staff, and they can draw lines on it, etc. And they could. I've been jumped on a couple this week. The Hereford staff have done that. They've analysed and shown their players and children, etc., on how they think they can do better, etc. So you'll see like there's little lines on there, coaching points in there. And, you know, we go through all little things like that. And it just helps with the coaching side of it. All the games are uploaded to our YouTube channel, which again is shared across all the platforms so that players and parents can see it. The analysis sessions, sometimes they're just done in-house with that age group. But again, it's something that I want us to push towards, because, you know, I know the academy have got VO cameras which are purchased by the football club, but for a development centre, we need to try and get our own. And you know, there's plenty of people out there that want to help the football clubs, and we've got wonderful sponsors in Hereford that have helped purchase ours, and I'm sure that's something that we want to do. I am conscious that I'm running out of time, guys. So I'm going to touch on this. This is for the older age groups. the pathways, because I'm very conscious that, you know, our older age groups do struggle to fill their team slots on Saturdays because sometimes players leave and etc. And I understand that because, you know, they wanted to get into an academy, they haven't got into academy, they're disillusioned by it. And I understand that. I want us as a football club, and I know the football club support it, to have a pathway right the way through from an under 6 right the way through to the men's football pyramid as it's got on screen. So how do we do that? Well, we're looking at going into a Cheltenham under-18s youth league. We've got our BTEC college programs, but that's not for everyone, because we might have some players out there that want to go and do A levels. So suddenly they can't do our BTEC program because that's for, I think it's equivalent to 3 A levels, gets you into university, but some want to go and do a plumbing course, an electrical course, so they can't go on to this program. So we're looking at the Cheltenham Youth League as a possible, and I will touch on that in a minute. Also, American opportunities. We've got players that have gone through our programs, that have gone out to America, and then also coming back into the coaching pathway, working back through us, which I will touch on. This is the Cheltenham Youth League that we're looking at entering next season. We've had a presentation with the Hereford under-16s. We're going to deliver one to the Cheltenham under-16s and the 15s if they want to jump on it, by all means, because it's something we want to evolve going forward as a football club. Now, we need a facility that's semi-pro level, step 5, step 6. We also need it that it's not being overused, so as we can use it. We have found one, and we're linking with a club in Hereford to do that. So Cheltenham might think, well, hang on a minute, our home games are going to be in Hereford. So we've decided, well, we'll enter a Cheltenham Youth League. So if you're in Cheltenham, your home games will be Cheltenham and your away games will be Hereford, so to speak, because all the teams in the Cheltenham Youth League, as you can see down here, are Bishop's Cleeve, Shortwood, Slimbridge, Tuffley, Lydney, Cheltenham Saracens, Cinderford, etc. So it gives us all that kind of ideas. This is a player from our Hereford College program. I know we had one from Cheltenham as well that went to America. Nathan came home at Christmas. I've done an interview with him, which I uploaded to our YouTube channel. For any player that's thinking of going to America, it's a good listen, because when I interviewed Nathan, I did one for social media, which lasted a minute, but we actually had a chat for about 15 minutes. And I asked him the questions that as a parent you would want to know, because my son looked at going there, and there were all sorts of issues. And we had a great chat around it. Nate's actually in Iowa. At the moment, he's flown back out there. He's absolutely loving it. And I know one of the Cheltenham lads has gone, but I've spoke about Nath because obviously I know Nath personally as well. But he's having a wonderful time, and it's a great experience. And, you know, listen, if you want the link to the YouTube channel, then, you know, it's on there. We talk about it, how he's enjoyed the program, the negatives and the pros about it, because I think it's massively important for a parent to know that. Just on the other one where we talk about the coaching pathways as well. So we've got 2 lads here that were, so Connor, you're on the left. He was our under-19s player last season, second year. He's now coaching back in our system. He's coaching for us in the Hereford Development Centre at under-8s. And on the left, you got James Wagstaff, who had his ILP shown earlier. He's also coaching this. He's currently our captain this year for the BTEC team. He's coaching in the under-8s as well this season. So there's coaching badges. We've put them through their badges, and now we want to get them back in the coaching pyramid, which they're doing as well while still playing. Just some of the things looking forward that we want to move on to as a development centre, forward thinking. And like I said, no idea is a bad idea. Just going to touch on it. Obviously, Tim and myself will do a joint presentation regarding the 23-24 season. When that's coming closer, we'll get round to doing that. Oh, I've gone a little bit farther, sorry. Again, as you can see, sponsorship to help grow our centres. This is the sponsors board we got at Cheltenham, which is the same that you'll see at Premier League sort of things where they talk in front of the camera. We've got them on there with all the sponsors' name on there. So, you know, that we create one for our Cheltenham site as well. We then can interview players and coaching staff to put them under pressure, but also as a bit of fun. This is a big one. Better communication. I think that's paramount. I think that's one thing that we are missing massively. So better communication around what we do. On the left with tours, we are looking at tours. We this year Hereford are trialing 2 tours, so they're going to Manchester and Paris. The Manchester one, I think, is in Easter weekend. They're going, about 70 of them are going there, and then in Paris in June, I want to say, and it's about 130, 140 possibly going on that. So again, if these evolve this year, it's something that we want to look at doing next year. We're also looking at getting a website set up, the website designated page, so as anybody can go onto the website, they can click on teams, and then we should have a development centre put into that. And if we've got a development centre in there, it can have a little link from that. Academy DC. player academy experience. So what we're looking, especially in the foundation ages, if any player is showing signs, listen, we've got very good players in our academy. We really have. It's a very strong academy at the moment, and I've seen it evolve over the years, and it's getting stronger and stronger. And those numbers that we showed at the start prove that. But what we're looking at doing, rather than say a player's going in on trial, he's coming across for a 4-week academy experience. And we are trialing that at the moment, a couple of players going in and out of that to trial that. Again, who benefits from this? Our boys. So again, I think it's massively important. Guys, this is the last slide now, so I hope you haven't fallen asleep just yet. But I just want to say this quote, I love this quote. If you really want to do something, you'll find a way. And if you don't, you'll find an excuse. And I think that is so true. And I believe that if we work together, let's be positive. I genuinely believe the quote, as I've said it, we will have stumbling blocks along the way. I will make mistakes. Our staff will make mistakes. We're human. But together, let's all move forward. We want to be the best version of ourselves. I want to be better today than I was yesterday. And who benefits? Said it before. So guys, it is massively important from that. Listen, I'm down to the last minute now. Is there any urgent messages or anything, James? Or
No, mate. No, all good.
Brilliant, brilliant. Okay, guys, well, hopefully it's recorded so I can share it across the platform. Like I said, thank you so much for your time tonight. I do appreciate it. I'm sorry it's clashed with some of your training nights, but unfortunately we train every single night, and there's a first team game tomorrow night, and it was just when is a good time. If you've got any questions, and I'm sure you have, please view it. Don't be afraid to send an email. The email's in the address. You've got my number. You've got my staff's number. Everyone, we all want to make this better as a football club, one club going forward. So any questions about anything, feel free to get in touch. And like I said, thank you once again for sharing your time. James, thank you for co-hosting with me, mate. Although I think I did most of the work, didn't I? Thank you, guys.
I'll take the thanks. I'll take the thanks.
Thank you, guys. I will share across your WhatsApp groups when I've recorded it, if I can get it uploaded. Thank you for your time. Have a wonderful evening and good night.
Top man. Cheers, mate.
Thank you.